So let's start the webinar. In this, the first and experimental webinar, I will try to show you how to work efficiently with chart in terms of data visualization, data vis libraries, and working with real data within your team, with product managers, data analysts, etc., etc. So let's start. Let's start with the concept of how I think you should work with database library, especially with chart, to be really effective. So the all concepts in Figma, Sketch, or Adobe XD, the following the rule. So if you want to have chart, you need to draw it. So let's use chart to draw the simple chart. Okay, you have a chart, and to work with it as a piece, as an item of design library, you do the following. So you just create a component. Okay, and you move these components to the separate project or separate page, and then you just copy paste them and use instances of this component inside your design, inside your product, etc., etc. So you resize them, etc., etc. So, but you could see that with this approach, you have two main problems. The problem number one, that you cannot change data inside it. Unfortunately, Figma and Sketch and Adobe XD API couldn't allow you to put new data, to put new layers inside component instances. So this is a problem number one. And problem number two, that when you resize it, you could see that it's not really pretty, and this like axis could be the different. So if, for example, I want to keep distance between these lines, I cannot do that because it's all static. So what I propose, what approach I propose to work with a design library. So you, the first rule, you just don't need to create a component inside Figma, inside Sketch. Yep, it could sounds controversial, but I will show you how I work with it. So, for example, for my virtual product, I want to have line chart, bar chart, and pie chart, for example. So what I do, the first thing that I do, I want to customize styles. So I just go to templates, and I create new templates, for example. So a few words about templates. The template, let's create one. So template is an entity that contains all possible settings for each of your chart types. So by default, in Pro and Team version, you have 16 different chart types now, and we will add some more in the future. So in one template, you have a control over all settings and styles for each chart type. So what does it mean? So you can control colors, settings that are specific for each chart type, labels, starting from font name to letter spacing, and grid. So in the next versions, we will add even more customizations. So with every new version, chart will have more and more customizations to allow you to create the charts that you want without any manual tweaks, without any manual actions after you're creating chart. So, okay, I created new template and what I want. So I want, again, line chart, bar chart, and pie chart. So let's customize colors, settings, and labels for my new chart. Okay, so I will remove colors that I don't want, that I don't like. Okay, let's remove it. Okay, and rearrange it in some way. Okay, so let's create a new one. Okay, let's use pink. Okay, I'm done with colors and I want my colors to be the same between all chart types. So we have option for it there. So styles applied. Okay, let's go next with settings. So for my line chart, I want straight line. Thickness, it's okay. I want to remove any dots. And okay, I will start y-axis from 0. For labels, I also want Roboto, and I want bold. Okay, font size is okay. Color could be more darker. Okay, XY is okay. Go to grid. Color is okay. Full grid, okay, and apply settings to move it to bar chart. So let's go to vertical bar chart, and we see that grid, labels, the same with line chart. For settings, margin, it could be between 0 and 1. So let's do it this. And round top corners, so like 3 pixels is enough. And colors, we can see that it's the same. So let's go to pie chart. Okay, color is the same as you see. Settings, okay, I want full circle. Descending, it's okay. Margin 0 and 0, okay. Labels is the same, grid the same. So we don't have any grid settings for pie chart. Okay, and let's name it test or webinar. Okay, and okay, so we can make it default, so it won't require us to do manual actions in creation pipeline. So I will show later if it will be needed. So let's make it default. Okay. So we are done with styles, but you could return to your template any time, any day, and edit it. And I will show also how it could be reflected in charts. So we have created templates, and what I can do now is just use chart as one single source of truth for all my charting library. So what we could do. So for example, I wanna create dashboard with a big line chart, few bar charts, and one pie chart, for example. So let's do it. So I want this size. Okay, line chart. Let's do 3 lines and just click create chart. So you could see that our template perfectly put it into the chart. So all colors, our font is a robot bold, and it's all okay. So let's create 2 vertical bar chart. Okay, So if you wanna do prototype and don't have real data, you could even select 2 canvases to create charts, and they will have the same settings. So 3 and 5. Oh, sorry. We need to create this. So let's do 2 categories, 5 bars. It's enough, and create that. Okay, so you can see that we created 2 bar charts with also our settings with rounded top corners. And lastly, let's create pie chart. Okay, let's align it right there. Okay, let's do 4 slices and create it. So, and also we have all our color palette right here. So as you can see, we didn't do any actions after we create a template. So once you are good with the template, with the settings, you could just create charts. So chart plugin will contain all your settings, all your styles inside. So, and you could use it as your design database library, and it's all. So if I want, for example, to resize it, I just resize it and click magical update chart feature. So it will do the best to redraw chart with new conditions. And for example, if I want to edit my templates, edit my settings, all that I want is to go there, to go to templates. Okay. And for line chart, for example, I want splaying lines. And for bar charts, I want, for example, I want different colors. So I want pink and red at the top. So when you create chart will take color by color. So as you saw, we have blue and orange. Blue and orange was at the first. And for pie chart, I want let's do margin between segments. So let's save it. And what you can do, so if you remain concept of components, when you edit your master component, it automatically, these changes automatically go over all instances. In chart, when you change template, you need to have manual action, because plugin cannot in the background look for any instances of chart and update it automatically. It will be massive load on your system. So you just need to go over your created charts and update it if you want them to follow the new styles. So you can do it in a bench, for example. Okay. Let's go there, the date. Okay, so once you created your chart and once you have this folder with a chart name, now it's your component. You can work with it as a component, and you can change templates to work with it as a component. So if you have any questions about how to apply this approach to your design team or your design process, so if you have any other ideas how this flow could be improved, just ping me in Slack and Twitter or by mail. So I will be really happy to hear from you, from your experience, how you see it could be done in more effective way. So it's all about our first part about design system and components. So in resume, let's wrap it again. All that you need to create your own design library is to firstly create template that reflects your design system language or design charting language. And the second step is to just produce charts with this template. And lastly, when you want to change your components, it could be really different changes about size, about dimensions, and about styles. You just work with already created charts. So let's go to the next section. And next section is how to work with data efficiently. So if we go to chart and see which options we have, we can see here three different sections: random, table, and JSON. So random data, it's perfectly good for prototyping reasons, for prototyping use cases. So when you just want to provide basic customization to the data and charts themselves, it's create random or any different distributions on just creates a data set that meet all these requirements, like minimal, maximum value, number of categories, lines, etc., etc. So it's a good starting point to create prototypes. But if you work with real data and you need to reflect this real data in your mockups, in your prototypes, you could have table or JSON options. So in this video, I will concentrate mostly on table option because we support JSON, yes, but JSON's structures are really complex. So we support just not real limited number of formatting options for JSON. And if you want to work with JSON, if it's okay for you, if your developers give you API with data and this API doesn't match with chart requirements, also please ping me with these examples, and we will improve, or we will enhance our abilities to parse complex JSON structures. So, and in this video, as I said, we will concentrate mainly on table option. And in the table option, we will mainly concentrate on Google Sheet integrations. Because, so not because, why I see that Google Sheet is a most powerful way to work with real data. So I can show you an example. So we can just go to that samples. And we will work with line chart example. So let's imagine that our data analyst or product manager gives us a sample of data that she or he wants to put into the dashboard, for example. So, and in my experience, the most of the time, they will provide you table data. So it could be Excel, it could be CSV, it could be even Google Sheet. So I propose you to put all this data to Google Sheet, because you will be able to edit this data in a separate of your chart. So let's see how this example works. So I want to draw this specific data. I just go to chart, click this integration, use line chart, and import this data. So if I click there, I will open the same table. So here you can see two inputs. So in this input, chart wants you to provide labels. So it's a text values that will be put it to for line chart. It will be put it to x-axis. And in this input, you need to select columns that are contains data. So in our example, it's data one, and data 2. So we sync it and we can create a chart. Okay, good. So you can use it in your dashboard. You can resize it, for example. So we remember that we use update feature is if we want to resize it. And for example, your product manager goes to you again and say, okay, I want to change this data set. How can I do that? So it's easy. You just provide them a data set or Google Sheet data set that they could just change data directly. So let's do it like this and this, and let's do like that. So we need to see it saved. Okay, select and go again to update chart. So difference in this case between update and edit in the nature. So in update feature, you just sync new styles and new data. You cannot edit the data set, for example. You cannot edit number of lines in your chart. You just could update it. So let's click update. And as we see, the data is updated. So I see this approach as a most effective way. So if you have any questions how to use it, how to apply it in your team, what's the mechanism behind that, just ping me. So few customers had issues about that you need to share Google Sheet to anyone to the internet. Yes, it's a main requirement to Google API. So Google API could provide us the data. So if it's sensitive data and you couldn't do it public in some ways, you have option with CSV. But CSV can't allow you to work as flexibly as with Google Sheet. So once you CSV is changed, you cannot just update chart. You need to create another one chart because there is no option of syncing static files that are dynamically changing. Okay, so that's all about our data. For example, for now it's okay, and let's see. So I showed you how to prototype dashboards in not even minutes. I checked it's like 30 seconds. So it will depends on which data you are drawing here. And the last point that I want to cover, it's the difference between pro and a team accounts. So what's the real difference? The real difference is use case. So if you are one user in your team, or you are individual contributor, you will be good with a pro account. So pro account allow you to use chart license on three different devices. So for example, you could use it on a work laptop, home laptop, and another one laptop, for example. Or you could use it with different systems, like you could use it with Figma, with a Sketch, and with Adobe XD, so it will be free. If you want to use it as a team, so for example, you have a design team, or you want to bring marketing managers to the work on charts and dashboards, or product managers, for example, you could use team account. So the one big even two big plus of team account is the one, it's an unlimited number of users, unlimited number of seats. So you could use it in a team of 5 or in a team of 100. It doesn't matter. And the second main option is a template. So in pro accounts, is, for example, in your team you have 3 designers and you buy pro license for every designer. The problem here will be that if we go to templates, every one designer will have their own templates. And you can imagine that if I, as a designer 1, I'm changing my templates, I need to go to designer 2 and designer 3 to say them, hey, you need to change your templates in this way because I have changed it, and we need to keep it consistent. So it's a problem. And in a team account, this problem are resolved because you all have the one account in general, and templates are the same for you. So if you, for example, have a lead designer or designer who is responsible for templates, he or she just maintain it, and all other users even not go to templates option. They just create, update, and edit. And they don't think about colors, about styles, about fonts, etc., etc. They just consume these templates. So, and in my opinion, this approach is really great. So you can have a team of designer of 20, and all of them will have access to you database system, just if you have one team account. And as I said, it's one account with unlimited number of seats. So that's all for our first webinar. So I will be really happy if the next time we will have live users to answer your questions directly, to work with you on your use cases, etc., etc. And I'm free to booking these calls. So if you are thinking about how to implement chart better in your team, or if you have issues with it, or if you are excited about what I said about components, design system, etc., and you need my help to provide some guidance with that. So just ping me again, Slack, Twitter, or by email, and I will be happy to find the time to book a call with you and your team and to provide any guidance that you need. So it's totally free. I just want every customer and every client to use a chart as effectively as it possible, and provide new ideas to me to improve that depending on your use cases. So thank you very much for this call. And I will be happy if you will see this video on the YouTube. So I will share it and provide any comments on the YouTube or Slack or anywhere where I am. So Slack, Twitter, and email. So that's all. Bye bye. See you in the next videos.